question here is, if someone is filming us in the if someone is filming us as library staff, we say that we're not comfortable and they continue filming. Does it fall into harassment or anything like that at some point? The simple answer to that is, if you're not comfortable with the way that someone is directing unwanted attention to you, and you make the decision to stay, that's on you. So the simple answer should be, you can walk away. And we're going to see that is that, what do we do? There are the three options of what we can do. So in this one here, does it fall into harassment? Harassment will be something where you've had the opportunity to leave the premises, like leave the area, walk into the back room, talk to your manager, the librarian, and just say, I'm feeling uncomfortable. There's a person out there that continues to film. I don't want to be out there. It's affecting my health. You need to let someone know that that is affecting you personally. Should you remain there and you ask the person, I'm feeling really uncomfortable, would you mind stop filming? And they say, no, I have every right to. That's not harassment, because the law actually states that that person is allowed to. What the law doesn't allow that person to do is to harass you with words, unwanted, aggressive behavior. And in this case here, you have the right to move away. You have. But should you stay, then that's not harassment. That's a tough one. How to deal with. Let me ask you this. You're in the library and you notice that there's a small fire, and the fire might be that's happened in a cup, and there's a small fire. Everyone in this room here that sees the small fire would be able to put that out. Everyone. No problems. That is minor discomfort. That is like, oh my, there's a fire. I need to put it out. You use whatever means. Now the fire gets a little bit bigger. So that's now an unreasonable person, a person who may be yelling, screaming, and the fire gets bigger. You then go, okay, my training has told me that I can use some of these strategies that Gerald's about to teach me. But in this case here, the fire is, you would grab a fire extinguisher. That's the first thing you would do. You would evacuate the area. You would move people away, and you would extinguish the fire. Okay, so the first thing that you heard there was that you would move people out of the way. Now let's go with a drug-affected or an alcohol-affected person. The first thing that I would do is, everyone's safe. Is everyone safe from this person? I would approach tables. I would make people know. I would walk to them and I would say, sir, madam, we have a bit of an incident happening here. There's a person who's affected by drugs and alcohol. We're not asking you to leave. However, to keep you safe, our recommendation is that you please evacuate the area, make your way out the back of the room, or if you can go out the front of the library to keep yourself safe. If that person says, mate, I can handle this, you leave them. But you will evacuate the area for the safety of yourself and others, and of course the fire or the person itself. Now, if the thing is out of control, the fire is out of control, it's burning the whole building down, not one person in here would be saying, oh, I can talk to this. Oh, I can put this fire out. What do? You call the emergency services, you dial 000, and you get the experts to deal with this situation. This is exactly how you would deal with it in an uncontrollable environment. So if it is something where an alcohol-affected person is, you would remove yourself from the danger, and you would try to, as much as possible, to remove everyone else from the danger. If they start smashing things, ruining books, throwing things across the room, all replaceable. Every one of those things is replaceable. You're not. Carly's just written here, teens, I found that building a relationship with the regular kids coming in after school when there's no problem, yes, that's true, helps them and helps their behavioral issues later. This approach in the long term and won't always work for every situation. And somebody else wrote, Kaylee has said 100% agree. Building relationships, isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what we're about to go into this? What do we do in this situation? And the three things that we can do, you'll be able to see. The first thing is that we need to be able to talk to them. With a drug-affected or alcohol-affected person, you cannot reason with a person who's got a mind-altering substance. I hope that makes sense to you. Don't try to deal with that situation. They're not rational. Keep yourself safe. And you'll hear this throughout the whole program. Safety is your number one priority. And then you've got people who are above you. Don't forget to manage up. Go up. Manage up. Go to your supervisor. Go to your manager. There's a situation out there I would like you to handle. I'd like you to handle it. Please don't put me in an unsafe situation. Oh, but we want you to train in this area. You've just been to de-escalation workshop. Why can't you deal with it? I need help. I'm asking for help. No one should deny you help. Not in the situation that we're in. We're in local government here. You should be backed up, supported 100%. Carly's also written, we work in libraries where only one staff member is on it most of the time. Nowhere to really go to be safe if anything kicks off. Kaylee, interesting there. He says, nowhere really to go to be safe. There's always somewhere to go. There's always. I'm alone here in this house right now. If someone comes through this front door, I've always got somewhere to go. I'm out the back door. I'm locking myself into a bathroom. I've got my phone with me. I'm going to be calling emergency services. Acknowledge where your area is. Make an escape plan now, because the question I would ask you is that there's nowhere really to be safe if anything kicks off. What if there's a fire? Is there nowhere for you to be safe? Is there nowhere that you can escape to? Like the fire is out of control. You would have an evacuation and an escape plan. Devise one, come up with one, develop one. Let other people know that this is our evacuation plan. We can always walk out of the library. Let people come in, ruin the place, burn it down, do what they want. Okay, I'm being extreme here, but you're safe. That's the most important. So when I see this, there's nowhere really to go to be safe if anything kicks off. Yes, Louise just wrote that can happen here too. When one staff member we have had staff member followed into the staff room, so we have to put up signage. Might be that we need to let staff know that we can leave the building. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're not a hostage in your workplace. You have every right to leave your building. And hopefully, I'm thinking in my head, there wouldn't be, or there shouldn't be, any manager or supervisor or an authoritative figure that says, no, you can't leave the workspace, even if they steal all the money. It's all insured. All that stuff is insured. Your safety, please, is number one. Leave the building. You'll have my number after this. You can have anyone call me. And if they want to challenge on, but we have over $100 million worth of assets in this library, in this building, and they want to argue with me that they need to protect those assets, we got an issue. I think we got a real issue. But I'm sure that doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. And then Katie writes, because of the setup of our library, yes, I have a plan in place. If someone gets me stuck in the front counter area, nowhere to go. Yep. If there's a fire, that's not an issue. But people who kick off, not really. I know what you mean by kick off. Can I just make something really clear here? This is what I want you to think of, really, really clear. And I want to be so exact with my words here and impeccable with my words to help you with this. Being in the riot squad where we had to disarm people, I would only like you to use this on the extreme of situations. Extreme. Somebody just says, yes, we have carriage arrest sets. That's great, but it's happening now and there's somebody right there now. I want to be really clear with this. My wife has a fire extinguisher in her car. Yeah, well, that sounds reasonable. In case there's a fire in the car, you would put that out. The reason why she has a very small portable fire extinguisher in the car is for road rage attacks. Now, listen carefully to what I'm saying. There's a road rage that's going to attack. She may have cut someone off. She works she has a van, and it might be hard to see. She might just merge in. You'll get at some stage somebody who's under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and you've seen those on the news items where a person will come out with a hammer, smash windows. What protection has she got? Absolutely zero. She has a fire extinguisher. Now, I know we laugh internally in our head. That fire extinguisher is a legal apparatus that you can use to protect yourself. And I'm not saying to smack the person in the back of the head. It's to use the fire extinguisher in extreme circumstances to disarm a person of an attack. Just think about what would happen if you were to pull that pin, use the fire extinguisher, and you're alone in that area. This is the only thing that you have that could protect yourself in an extreme situation. I'm being very careful with my words because I don't want somebody saying, "Oh, somebody spat food at me, and I'm going to use the fire extinguisher on them." No, this is your life is being threatened. I hope you have one next to your bed, not a knife, not a baseball bat, just a fire extinguisher next to your bed. I know it's extreme, but just imagine somebody walks in and you hear that noise and you have a protection of a fire extinguisher. That's going to disarm that person. That will give you time. I hope that makes sense. So hopefully that may just help you with how can I protect myself. If you're alone in that library, that's tough. And I've been to some regional libraries. You know, I've been to Normanton. You know, I've been up to Nuprenum. I've been to Mornington Island up in the Gulf. They are extremely isolated, one person. They need to protect themselves. So hopefully that helps. For your own protection, I would say just get a little fire extinguisher from Bunnings. They're about $15. Keep it next to your bed. Okay, that's the first thing you should do, and have one in the car as well. It'll protect you. Curious to know if other libraries have a policy for dealing with difficult customers. Customer service staff across all outward-facing council venues, libraries, and pools. Yes. I wonder if you do have policies when it comes to dealing with customers. The number one rule should be is what we're going to go through. Let's learn these phrases. We've got about an hour and a half to go. Kaylee and I work in the same library. We have no duress buttons and only one extra exit to our front counter area. And unless you have a mad parkour skills, you aren't jumping over those counters. Good point. I think Sam wrote that. Kaylee and I work in the same library. That's a good point. This is difficult. And I'm trying to think of the last time that a library staff member was attacked. And it was about a year ago. And that was up in the Scenic Rim, where some young teenagers came in and they just wanted to create havoc, but they had an escape route. And they had some probably strong people there that could handle the situation, but they shouldn't have to. You should never have to handle a situation where you're not skilled to handle it. We walk. You mean to set the foam off, Kaylee? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. This state library behavior policy. So if everyone wants to grab that from Kaylee, responsible client conduct policy. Yes, I have that as also. In our smaller libraries, there is only one entry exit door, so not easy to get away from aggressive customers. You're right. It's not easy. This is we talk about this in being a safe working environment. Work safe, home safe. Think safe, work safe, home safe. We have to be in a safe working environment. So if I'm your manager, I would take this on as a priority to ensure my staff are safe. I can't stress it more. Your safety is number one. Thank you. All those. We will talk about some of these towards the end. Yes, it's up. What do we do? You got three choices here. Three choices. Just write down in the chat what you think the three choices are. We're going to get clear about three things that we can do. A person is yelling at you, screaming at you. They may have a hammer. They've got a weapon, a knife. What are the three things that you can do? So raising their voice, yelling, screaming. They want to attack you. Hit me up with some things that you might be able to do. Throw that in the chat, and we'll go through them very slowly. Run, very good, Kaylee. Or walk. You don't have to run, but run is a good thing. Get those boots on. Levi, I think you, Christine, you mean leave. Yes, leave. After jumping the high counter, yes, with your parkour skills. So some people have gone run, leave. Yep. Anything else? Move away, run or walk. Advise other patrons to do the same. Absolutely. So you're pretty much on the ball there. Pretty much on that. Anything else? So we know we can walk away. We can walk away. We can lock ourselves in a room. We can do that. Press the duress button, advise a colleague, call the police. Very good. Is there anything we can do with the customer? Anything we can do with the customer. Press the duress button. Yes, absolutely. Some councils don't have duress buttons. Some libraries don't have it. I can tell you most don't. Most. Grab the fire extinguisher. Very good, Sue, and your friend. Yes, in extreme cases, please don't be bringing out the fire extinguisher and now all of a sudden, oh, we've got our de-escalation technique, which is, please, extreme circumstances. We know that. I can see that you're upset. Is there anything I can do to support you today? Kaylee, that's very good. And what I want to add there, let's just, I'll bring them up so we can have a look. You know what the answers are. One is you can talk to them. Two, you can walk away. Or three, you can beat them up. You can fight them. Now, remember I said of the three, because these are all the options, and I've got with beat them up, you can argue with them. Beating them up is physical. Arguing with them is verbal. So we don't want any physical or verbal attacks. What we want is what Kaylee may have written there, something about, is there anything I can do to support you? I can see that you're upset here today. Something's obviously got you upset. I'm glad that you've come to me. This is a safe space. I'd like to talk to you about this. So you can talk to them. Look, if that doesn't work, walk away. But 2 out of the 3 work. Please do not beat them up or argue with them. Arguing with a person, try it. Here's what I'd like you to do. Here's your goal today. Go home tonight and just start an argument with your partner. Just do that. Walk in and go, when they say, hey, how was your day? Go, what's it to you? And then see how easy it is to de-escalate that. It's not. But if they turn around and go, say something like, sounds like to me you've had a pretty tough day, 100% better. 100%. Sarah's written here, I hope after this training you find a way to further ensure that your safety is at work. Yes, there's no internally, but the OIC, I'd be taking this up with your workplace health and safety manager. Do you have cameras? Yeah. See, all these things are really important. Why do you think the first thing that you do when you go into working in a new place, it's a safety induction? You get your safety induction and we all talk about it. The difference now is it's legislated. It's legislated under the Workplace Health and Safety Act. So please, your safety is number one. So yes, no beating up, people. No beating up. Let's go through this one more time. I've got it on my T-shirt there. Whatever it is that you're going to do, whether it's using a fire extinguisher, jumping counters, yelling at them, screaming, walking away, will it stand up to scrutiny from the community? Will you be on the front page of the Courier Mail? Is it ethical? And ensure compliance with the standards and procedures that your council has? Is it lawful? I want you to consider your laws, the bylaws, the regulation, legislations, everything. We just learned that it's okay for a customer to take pictures in a library. And I think one of the questions was also about, then we have a rule about an under 12-year-old being accompanied by a minor. That's law. They have to be accompanied by a minor. Once they turn 12, they can be left at home. That's law. 12. You can leave your child at home at the age of 12. They can go to the shops. They can ride their bikes. They can be out and about. Under 12, they must be accompanied by an adult. And finally, is it fair? Consider all the community and your family and colleagues. Is it fair that what you're doing? And sometimes we don't do it fair. All right, let's get into the crux of this. What do we say? So for the last hour, I want to focus on this, and you will get all the copies to this. So I think this is really important for us to maybe raise questions at any time that you want to. So the first thing is, you've all seen this, there's what we call above the line behavior and below the line behavior. So above the line, we say, row the oar, which is take ownership, take accountability, and be responsible. Hard for some teenagers to do nowadays. Below the line behavior is what we say, we're going to bed, which we give up. I'm tired, which is we blame others for the actions that have happened. We make excuses, and sometimes we're in denial. Most important here, and I will bring up, you can either use the chat or you can use the box, but I want to know, what is it that your customers are saying to you that is rude, oppositional, or disrespectful? So what are they not happy with? And please don't just say, oh, they're not happy with life, because some of them are just not happy with life. What I'd like, though, is I want you to think of a situation, a real situation. I came up with one with the libraries, the person walking in with a camera. I want another situation that you have that may just trigger that person to be able to say that they're rude. And what is it that they're not happy about? Fees, rates, the new government. Is it about footpaths, bins? I don't know. The books that you have that are in there that are inappropriate to some people, not being able to use the archives, not being able to go in a room. What are they not happy about? Because I'll choose one and then we will wrap around our phrases just around that one. And you'll see how this will work with every one of them. So what I'll do in this one here. All right. So the question here is, what are your customers saying to you that is rude, oppositional, or disrespectful? If you don't want to put it in here, you may want to put it into your into the chat. I will have a look at that as well. Give you a couple of moments. What are your customers doing that is rude, disrespectful? There are children in the library making normal noises and staff are not telling them to be quiet. They are making normal noises and staff are not telling them to be quiet. I'm not sure if I understand that. What's a normal noise? Like speaking? One patron complaining to another patron about being too loud. This starts a screaming match in the computer room. Yes, it does. Having to be a member to use the computers. Yep, that'll do it. Yep. One patron not allowing others to use the printer and being rude when asked to share. Yep, that'll do it. Requiring to be signed up as a member to use our facilities, even the computer. Travelers need to be signed up as temporary member. And after some recent changes, there have been a lot of people not happy. They don't want to give their details over to the government. Don't you love that? I bet you they have a driver's license, though. I want to give my details over to the government. Can't have that happen. Ooh. One print. So we got an issue with printers, I think. On the printer being down. This is BS. I pay my rates for this. Yes, they say that. This is just BS. I pay my rates. They do that. Verbally attacking staff. What was that? Charges to the printing or changes to the printing charge. Wow, there's an issue with some printers going on. Having a loud conversation about other races, sexuality, or religion because they don't agree. Yes. Yep. You would have had the never Trumpers in there and the Democrats, and you would have had all that Trump and Harris stuff going on, yelling and make America great again. And you would have had all that happening. Do you want me to tell the children, teenagers, etc., to be quiet? So when you have a look at these, we won't allow them to email us documents to print for them, even though they are capable of logging on and printing themselves. This is good. We have responses to all of these. Customers having an issue with the amount of time that a particular process takes. That's true. That's true. It does take time. They don't understand. They just think they're the most important person in the world. I get that. A customer has to fill out a dog noise complaint form and got annoyed at us saying that she shouldn't have to fill out the form because it was a stressful and action should be taken without forms. Yes, maybe we can use that one. We can use that one. All right. All of these are legitimate. It's too loud at story time when it's scheduled every week at the same time, but you choose to come in at this time every time. Yep, they do that. Not having the facilities they want, for example, like a fax machine. Do fax machines still exist? I thought they'd gone. Why can't I fax here? Their phones don't work. Wow. All right. Let's stop that share there. So we've got a lot. Changes to the print system. I think we need to work on our printers. Could be something. Guardians and parents getting very upset that we are not a babysitting service and asking them to remain in the library with children under 12. Wow. That's so true, isn't it? Yeah. Why aren't you a babysitting service, by the way? Why aren't you babysitters? Anyway, let's go through some of the responses. So we'll make this hopefully less painful for us. And let's go through them. There is a strategy. We'll go through this very slowly. We have an hour. We've got plenty of time. The strategy here is the first thing, we're going to stop them from abusing you. So if they're raising their voice, I'll show you how we can do that. If they're using abusive language, if they're saying things that you don't agree with, if they're doing things that's inappropriate, we're going to stop them. We'll show you how to do that. We're going to acknowledge that they have an emotion going on, either frustration, anger, hurt, sadness, upsetness. We're going to just acknowledge. We'll show you how to do that. Clarify. We're going to clarify that they are what they're not happy about. I'll show you how to do this. Then we get into the most important part. Tell them the reality of the situation. These are the rules. So the first thing that we're doing on the first three is, first, if they're being abusive, we're going to stop that behavior. We're just going to stop that. Then we're going to go over the next two, acknowledge, and then clarify. This is where the clarification is, in my head, you're right. That's what I'm just going to say. You're right. The printer should work. You're right. It should be free to come in here. You're right. In my head, I'm saying this. I'm not saying that to them. I'm saying this in my head. You're right. It should be, you should be able to just use the computer without being a member. You're right. There should be other facilities in here. You're right. We should have a 4-lane pool in the middle of the library. You're right. So once I now clarify that in my head, that I know that they're right, we can now get into the reality of the situation. What the general rules, what the policy, how council operates very quickly. We do this very quickly, and then we can suggest an action. So let's start you off very softly. Pick one. I'm sure you've had some of these. How would you respond to this? And I've got one response to all of this. One response to all of this. So the first one, you're going to have a person that says, you can't tell me what to do. I pay your wages. I know the mayor. You're a racist. Get me someone older. I'm not talking to a woman. What you are doing is illegal under the Constitution. I'm a sovereign citizen. You're all corrupt. You are harming children these days with all the indoctrination BS. Like I said, I have one response for all this. I want you to think about, pick one, and I want to know how you would respond to it. So remember, the first step is stop them from this potential abuse that's going to turn into hostility or anger. The number one thing is stop it. And you're going to be amazed how simple this is and how effective it is. And yet we won't know what it is that we're going to say. So let me give you this. How are you going to respond to someone saying to you, you're a racist? Just that one. We'll make it the hardest one. You're a racist. All right. If anyone has a response, please unmute yourself. Somebody went with the I'm not talking to a woman. A response is, I'm sorry you feel that way. We're going to remove that. We're not going to say that. We're not going to use that anymore. I'm sorry that you feel that way. We're not going to use that anymore. There's a reason for that. That worked. That worked about 20 years ago. It was really effective. Now it's a little bit more, people can see, they can see that writing. Oh, you've been to dealing with difficult people course. Somebody's written, thanks for your feedback. So you're a racist. Thank you for your feedback. So what you're doing here is that you're congratulating a person for abusing you. I know where you're trying to come from here. You're trying to de-escalate the situation. We won't be using that one. That's not helpful. I can see that you're unhappy. What would you like me to do, Tracy? Very good, Tracy. Tracy's done some homework. That's not helpful. Liam has written, that's your opinion. Liam wrote, your, gosh. Oh, right. Yeah. That's your opinion. Yep. I'm hearing you, but we need to talk about what is upsetting you first. That's close, Sam. That's very close. The closest one, I think, to this one here is we're gonna stop the abuse. So just have a look at what Tracy wrote, just that first line. The first line there is, that's not helpful. Just have a listen to how that is. Let me go back to the other screen so I can see it. It says, I pay your wages, or you can't tell me what to do. Just use that phrase. Hey, that's not helpful. I pay your wages, sir. That's not helpful. I know the mayor. That's not helpful. You're a racist. Get me someone older. That's not helpful. I'm not talking to them. Look, that's not helpful. You're all corrupt, sir, ma'am. That's not helpful. What we're saying here is that's not helping the situation for me to solve your issue. So in one clear stroke of the pen, Tracy, that phrase there is a winner. And it's actually one of the phrases that we use. The other one that you can use is to be a little bit more assertive. So that one there, that's not helpful, is a really good calming technique. It really is. Try it one day. Try it one day. Don't try it with your children because children don't care. When you try this with an adult, they get confused because they're after an argument. They want you to react to something like, you're a racist. And you go, no, I'm not. Well, yeah, you are. Well, no, I'm not. You know, most of my friends are Chinese or Indians or whatever. That doesn't work. So the other one is, have a look at this. There's no need for that. So stop them from abusing you. So there's no need for that. Like, you're a racist, ma'am. There's no need for that. So that there is it's 100% more assertive. So what you're saying here is the language that they're using, this isn't the place for it. And it's not necessary. And there's no need to be using that language in this environment. So using that, there's no need for that. Then acknowledge that they have the emotion. We'll go through all this slowly. I've got other screens that's going to do your head in, but they'll help. So acknowledge, look, I can hear your frustration, or I can see that you're upset, or I can see that, you know, the situation that you're in is not where you want it to be. So right there, what you've done is that you've stopped them from abusing you. You're now acknowledging that they're upset. And you have every right to say, look, I can see that you're angry. Oh, too right, I'm bloody angry. There's no, what would you do in this sort of situation? Like, you've just now told me there's been a change to the printers and now we've got to pay an extra $1. So I can hear that. I get it. I get it. So the more times that you reflect back to say, I'm hearing you, I get it, they can't keep coming back with more and more. But there is another strategy that we can use. Or then you clarify. So what they're not happy about. So let me just see if I heard you correctly. What you're telling me is that the changes made to the increased charges in the rates or the printers or the change in government has made you upset that you think that this should be included in the rates. Well, too right. So if you can get them to, if you can use their words, what they're saying back to them, they think that you're agreeing with them. So what you're saying to me is that there shouldn't be an increase in the printed charges because it should be included in the rates. Yes. Yes. So once you get a yes from them, you've now de-escalated. And the important part here is reflecting back what it is that they're saying. You've done this in empathy sessions. You know, I can see you're upset. What you're telling me is that you're upset because of the way that you've been treated by other people. Yes, I am. Then you go into tell them the reality of the situation. Then you go into your council policies, or you say something like, there's been recent changes made that council has introduced over the last, and they may yell at you, but you say, hear me out for a tick, because I think this information is really important to you. Council has made these changes to reflect the amount of services that we're providing. Oh, so, and because of that, you increase the charges. Because of that one thing, council decides to make changes. Slow down a minute. I get where you're coming from. In reflection, is that council has acknowledged that there have been some changes made, and we're just listening to the feedback that's come. And then you can suggest your action. Look, here's what we can do for now. Is we've got this as a introductory period. We're doing this for a couple of months. We're just seeing if this can work. So let's go through them.